And I like the old school stuff. Great big Hummer.
Ask nicely, and Clifford Holland will proudly show you his collection. His crown jewel.
They don't make cars nowadays like they used to back in the day.
1966 Oldsmobile Toronado.
I feel safe. Sometimes there's hostilities on the road.
With Holland, a Navy veteran behind the wheel, we're on a mission back in time.
There was a lot of places that the black motorists would drive and they would not get services. They was told in the Green Book to avoid these places.
Holland is talking about the Negro Motorist Green Book, a guide published from 1936 to 66, a safety net for black motorists looking for a place to stay, eat, get a haircut, or shop without fear in an unfamiliar city.
All right, here we go.
For decades, black motorists passing through Seattle found refuge in the Central District. That's where Holland was born and raised.
Driving while black, sometimes they're pulled over for any small number of reasons.
The book may be out of print, but some say the lessons and warnings in it are as relevant as ever, especially when behind the wheel.
A lot of times it escalates into a situation where blacks are being forced into a lot of things.
Holland's talking about Philando Castile, a 32-year-old black man shot and killed by Minnesota police during a traffic stop.
Told him not to reach for it. I told him to get his hand out.
Castile was reaching for his driver's license when police shot him 5 times. The aftermath documented by his passenger on Facebook Live.
And the officer just shot him in his arm.
I've been pulled over for some funny stops. He asked me, "What are you doing in this car?" And I thought that'd be kind of odd. Well, it's my car, you know. As a young man, especially a young black man, what am I doing in this classic car like this, which was very expensive?
When you look at the Green Book, there's so much relevancy today, not only in lifting and building black business, that caution that one takes when there could potentially be interaction with the police or state patrol while on the road.
Stephanie Johnson Tolliver is working to make sure the lessons from the Green Book are never forgotten.
Something that we're working on with Washington State Historic Society is building out curriculums or lesson plans for educators and students around the Green Book and how to talk about that, the racism that existed across this country and where we are today.
Welcome to the Seattle Green Book Self-Guided Tour.
Maria Stockard McDaniel and her group Black and Tan have created a digital Green Book.
This tour starts at King Street Station
to guide users through a tour of what was once a segregated city.
I see with you this mission to kind of make sure that this story doesn't go away. What is the danger of the lessons of the Green Book kind of being lost to history?
I think it goes back to continuing to share the stories. I have a duty to collect this information to pass it on to my kids.
A history that for Stockard McDaniel took a personal turn.
I started researching actual Green Books. In the 1950 edition, my great uncle, so this is my grandfather's brothers, owned a shop on Madison here in Seattle. See a picture of my Uncle Boots actually in the barber chair.
That business, Stockard's Barber Shop, was listed as a safe place for black people visiting Seattle. The building is long gone.
This is what Seattle is becoming.
But not what it stood for.
There are things that were happening here that were just not on the radar. And I think if it's not on the radar and it's not exposed, people make the assumption that it didn't happen.
Later this month, Seattle's Museum of History and Industry, MOHI, will put the so-called Bible of Black Travel on display.
Seattle was just as segregated as some of these places down south. So people, when they start hearing that, because they'd never seen it in books, they start realizing, man, Seattle's got some history.
Back in the 66 Toronado.
The talk, my mother would tell us to be careful, be polite. Nowadays, we get pulled on over. I'm showing hands. I'm showing hands. I am not taking any chances. Because there's too many people that are getting shot over simple stuff. A lot of people don't want to acknowledge that these things happened.
The Green Book, a glimpse of what Seattle was and what Seattle needs to remember.